Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Flight Club is redefining access to the skies. We currently have 68 personal aircraft available across the U.S. market. Aircraft owners can combat high ownership costs with flexible revenue options such as block time, membership dues, and hourly rates. Flight Club even offers a comprehensive fleet insurance policy with a fast and simple quote process. Whether you're looking to fly or list your aircraft, Flight Club makes it easier than ever. Join the movement. Let's take flight.
I'm currently using the Hartsel Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartsel's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
And good morning, Sun and Fun. We're back, day 4, the last of the morning brief series, because tomorrow morning we got even bigger things in store for you with Saturday Flight Live. We'll be talking about that in a few minutes. Make a long story short, it's been a long week. The King here has been working phenomenally well. We've gotten an awful lot accomplished, but the best part about everything here is tremendous amount of news, good spirit. Today we've got blue sky like you've never seen. The question is whether or not blue sky you're going to be able to see the Blue Angels. They're just going to blend right in. It's gorgeous out. Zero chance of precip and zero chance of thunderstorms. We'll get over that in a minute as well. But it's just absolutely stunning out here. Let's thank our sponsor of the day, Piper Aircraft. Obviously, their big push is behind the M700. A couple of months ago, I had a chance to go play with it. To make a long story short, it's as fast as they say it is. And that was with camera people on board and a couple of other folks joining us and this, that, and the other, and just bombing around the eastern side of Florida, having a great old time up at the flight levels. And I'll tell you what, the airplane impresses. The integration in the cockpit impresses even more. You'll be seeing more about that at a later date. Of course, I'm Jim Campbell, CEO and Editor-in-Chief, Grand Poobah, and the guy who just takes the blame for Aero-News. So hit me. Take your best shot. Weather forecast for the day. Mostly sunny and hot. Yeah, hot. It's been the HOT all week. Temperature tying the record from 2012. Low 90s, but be careful. Possible danger of dehydration and heat stroke when doing strenuous activities like walking around and geeking out at airplanes and going, I want that one. So be careful. Seriously, folks, it gets really warm. There's a lot of shade around here. There's a lot of water available. Do not hesitate to get in the shade or hydrate and take care of yourself. Winds are east-southeast at 10. Possible gusts. Okay, we're just starting out on a roll here, aren't we? Wind gusts of 23 miles an hour. Probably not till later this afternoon. And again, probability of precip and thunderstorm. Zip. Nada. Nothing. We're cool. Normally we start out with the top story from the day before, but let's talk about what will be our top story for tomorrow. Saturday Flight Live. By the way, you got to admit, it's a very catchy name. Nobody's ever heard anything like it before. It relates to absolutely nothing, said Chevy Chase. At any rate, Saturday Flight Live is our live rendition starting in the 1300 time frame tomorrow, covering both the day and the night air show, and it's going to be as much air show goodness as you can possibly take. Airborne-live.net, AIRBORNE-LIVE.net. Don't miss it. We're putting a tremendous amount of work into it. Yeah, we're learning something every time we do it. It's an extraordinary endeavor. It's managed, of course, by our video team under the command of Nathan Cremasino and Holland Lee and Tom Baker and Jim Soik, or properly pronounced psych. So we're going to have our A-Team crew tomorrow. It's going to be something else entirely. And if you want to see one of the greatest shows on earth, as produced by the phenomenal and ever so pretty Dennis Dunbar, don't miss it, folks. I promise you it's going to be good stuff. Unless you can be here. That is better. I'll give you that. At the same time, being at home in front of the TV, your PC, whatever you put this on, with a nice cold one and a nice air-conditioned place, it has its benefits. All right, we've got 3 guests today. 3, not 2, 3. So we are just going to close out the week with a bang. In just a moment, we will be greeting Steve Bozer of Sensenik, and I got his name right this time. I was all day Monday calling him Don because, well, brain dead. It hasn't changed much, but, we'll see what happens. But we've got great guests in the lineup. We'll have Clayton Wheaton shortly from Direct Fly USA, and Adriana. I knew I was going to screw up names today. I'm telling you. Adriana Berrigan, who is an aviation educator and has some interesting ideas about a program that they have. Okay, so we will be right back. This is Aero-News live from the 51st Annual Aerospace Expo, Sun and Fun, the whole shebang. And we'll be right back. This is Aero-News.
The Aero-News Network Sun and Fun Digital Daily Morning Brief, live from Lakeland, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
I'm a pilot and aviation enthusiast myself. For me, the most exciting model I've ever manufactured was my own. It's just the coolest feeling to have on display a plane that you've personally connected with over the years. Show off that passion for aviation. If you own a general aviation airplane and you want the world to know about it, put it on your desk. Inspire the next generation. If you want to share your love for aviation with a friend or family member, shop our great selection of aircraft models today.
Spring is in the air and it's time to go flying. Whether you've been flying all winter or have some rust to remove, we have some great news. Our spring 25% off sale has just started, but it only lasts for the next 6 days. You'll want to take advantage of this sale through April 8th by using the code SUN.
And we'll see you
at Sun and Fun.
Putting in your fuel senders was one of the smartest decisions I made.
Made a real difference in my flying.
When I land, I will have the fuel that I expect to have. And it's just been a remarkable improvement.
The SICE system gives me that confirmation.
A whole new level of confidence with my level of fuel on board. I mean, I know exactly how much I've got.
Such a simple thing, but so important.
And we're back. You didn't walk off or anything else. We appreciate that. You didn't let good sense prevail. You stuck with us. So here we go. I'm pleased to present Steve Bozer, Sensenik Propellers. And by the way, I got such a kick when you introduced yourself at the Innovation Preview, going through the pronunciations for Sensenik, because my wife has a problem with the pronunciation of her name. She's heard all different variations, and I've heard, I think, 6 different variations on Sensenik. So at least we got that straight from the beginning. Steve, tell us everything that's new and exciting at Sensenik.
So Sensenik's been making props for over 95 years, wood props, metal props, and we started making composite props in the late 90s. We've been making them for light sport aircraft, experimental aircraft, but we had the demand. Everybody kept coming to us at every show, when are you going to make one for certified aircraft? So we proved it out in some other markets, in the airboat market, in the unmanned market. We've had great service experience and performance in the light sport and experimental. And in the late 20-teens, we finally took the opportunity to certify it. So our first certified prop was for a Super Cub aircraft with the O360. It has excellent performance, a 40% reduction in weight from the OEM propeller, and we just get rave reviews from our customers on that. We set our sights for the next big market. It did take us about 2 years to get to this point. We just released a STC prop for the Cessna 172 series. Now, The first release is for the 180 horsepower. Whether it's an O360, IO360, doesn't matter. Our prop is eligible for installation on that aircraft. And we're going to be looking at other very, very popular aircraft right after that, including some of the smaller engines on the 172.
Outstanding. At the same time, you have not abandoned your legacy props. I know you're working at this point. How many different categories and actual types of props do you manufacture?
Well, we started off with fixed pitch props, and at last count, there's at least 75 different models of wood props. But traditionally, if we look at our type certificates and all that, it's hundreds of different models. So we still want to keep the old antique and the classic aircraft up in the air, and we do our best trying to help those guys out. We still have a pretty vibrant line of metal propellers, very active in the flight training sphere. And then, of course, we've got our newer ground adjustable props for the light sport and the experimental, and now we're getting into the certified props.
The jump wasn't so much a jump. Our transition to certification has to be a tough one, because dealing with Uncle Federal, not the easiest thing in the world sometimes. How has the shift toward those markets affected Sensenik?
So light sport was kind of our first opportunity to get in and see the new regulations and see the landscape and try to help with that process with the consensus standards. And as the success of light sport went forward, the FAA recognized that and being able to apply that to Part 23 regulations. And so we worked very hard to shape our development and our service experience to work well with that. And it wasn't until Amendment 64 of Part 23 that we finally took that opportunity and went forward. Now, it still was a long effort, and we invested a lot of engineering and all that into it, but we're very happy with where we've gotten to date, and we see a really bright future in products for other certified aircraft and also for the light sport and experimentals. We have many, many models in development right now, especially for the sport and the STOL market segment.
You have to be excited about Mosaic, at the same time have to be wondering about Mosaic. How prepared is Sensenik for Mosaic?
We're working on it. I'll be honest, there are some really big opportunities there. We have some partners, so we have some good groundwork there, but we're working really hard to see how that's all going to come out and take advantage of that opportunity with the heavier aircraft, faster airspeeds, and more seat capacity.
The other thing that's notable is that you've got a lot of props out there that have been out there since God wore sneakers, requiring maintenance, refinishing, what have you. But you take care of all that. What's the process involved there? What do you recommend? And a little bit about care and feeding of a Sensenik prop.
So metal propellers are fairly, I'm not going to say carefree. You do want to make sure they don't have nicks and scratches and that sort of thing. That's the most important thing with a metal prop, and make sure that they have finish so they don't corrode. A wooden propeller, on the other hand, that really needs some TLC. A wooden propeller is a living thing, just like a wooden door. It shrinks and swells. You have to keep your bolts tight at least twice a year, and you really do want to try and keep it out of the sun when not in use to keep that finish in good shape, to keep the water from getting into it. The composite props are kind of in between. They also have paint finish that you want to try and take care of, but it's not nearly susceptible to the elements like a wood prop.
Well, having been over to see some of your facilities and all, I know you guys are busy and also aiming for the future. You've done some expansion of recent note. What does the future of Sensenik look like?
So we had a recent expansion where we moved our executive team and our engineering team to some brand new space. We use every square inch that's available in our facilities. Now we've got a little bit of room. We can add some more engineering equipment and so forth. We're adding more test cells. Our development team is very excited for the next year or two to work on the Mosaic project and some of these certification projects.
Well, there are very few aviators who've been out for any period of time, haven't flown behind or in front of or in between a Sensenik and so forth over the years. What does Sensenik use to distinguish itself in this industry at this time? How do you explain who and what your company is to GA?
Well, we've been around a long time. A lot of people trust us. They trust our product, they trust our support, they trust the design integrity that we have at our company. We also have the performance too. So we look very hard at a market segment when there's an opportunity. We try to optimize it to give you the best performance possible. And we try to give you really good support too on the back end.
So how can people get more information about Sensenik, and most important, how do they stay educated about what you do?
Obviously, you go to our website, www.sensenik.com. That's kind of a mouthful. It's SENSENICH.com. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. Or if you're in the Plant City or Lakeland area, we're only 20 minutes from here in Florida. Give us a call. We love having people come by and showing them our facilities and our product.
And do it, folks. It's a neat place, and the interesting thing about aviation is there's a certain attraction to props. We all know we need them. On certain aircraft, it's a pivotal feature. I mean, you go up to any Cub, wood prop is gleaming in the sun and everything else. So the attraction to and the need to understand your prop is kind of a big deal, especially since the last thing you want to do, and I know this for a fact, you don't want your prop to let you down. No. So we thank Steve from Sensenik. We will be right back in just a few moments. We've got Clayton Wheaton from Direct Fly USA on deck, Adriana Berrigan from who is an aviation educator on deck as well. We've got a lot to talk about this morning. This is live from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo. This is Aero-News. Be right back.
The Aero-News Network Sun and Fun Digital Daily Morning Brief, live from Lakeland, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Sensenik to me is an iconic aviation brand.
Here we go, we're taxiing out. First rip on the new prop. On throttle now. This prop really bites.
So you picked up a little bit.
Oh yeah, about 15 miles an hour. That's quite a bit.
Something we worked really hard at Sensenik the last 5 years is to try and combine the best performance both at low speed and high speed with our composite props. And I really think on this one, we've done it.
What? You again? Well, there we go. Okay, the audience is sticking in. We're glad to have you. Let's talk light sport category, future of Mosaic, with a major player in that field, Clayton Wheaton of Direct Fly USA, the Alto NG series. Cool looking little airplanes. Clayton, tell me what's the latest and greatest right now with Direct Fly USA.
Thanks for having us, Jim. This year, we have a couple of new things to announce. We are now offering the 912 IS engine. Previously, we had only offered the Rotax 912 ULS. And my favorite announcement this year is we're offering the 120 horsepower Edge Performance engine as well. Right? Yeah, I'm always about more power. Coming from a motorsports background, you can never have too much power. We also have a new, completely redesigned instrument panel that can fit two 12-inch Dynon HDX 1200 displays, and still have room for a Garmin 175 Navigator and a few more pieces in the radio stack. We also offer Garmin if that's your thing. We can do steam gauges if you're still into that for whatever reason. Have it your way. Have it your way. Have it your way. We build them to order, and if you can dream a color scheme, we can do it pretty much. We are now offering a 2 painted color and then a different foil color. The factory calls it foil. It's a decal scheme, and there's 3 different versions of that. You can find that on our website at directflyusa.com.
Well, one of the things that's attracted me to your program was the fact that if somebody dings a wingtip, somebody, bunches up a leading edge, you can make a call. You've got the proper paint schemes and so forth available. So when you ship a part, it's not a matter of repainting the thing, it's ready to go.
That's correct. You just provide us with your serial number. I own one personally. I bought mine before I ever got involved with sales for the company. So I might be a little bit biased, but maybe not as biased as you think. A little bit. And a big part of it that appealed to me over all the other light sport offerings was that it's a repairable aircraft. It's built in a traditional manner with rivets and aluminum. The only pieces of the aircraft that are not aluminum riveted are the cowl, wheel pants, and wingtips, and those are all carbon fiber. You call us up with your serial number. The factory has all of that information on record. The best way to do it is take a picture of the damaged area, because we all know flight schools, accidents happen. People push stuff into the hangar, you catch a wingtip. Just send me a picture of the damage, and we'll send that to the factory, and they'll paint the parts that you need to order. So all you need to do is drill out the old rivets, re-rivet it, and then airbrush the rivets, and you're back to the way it came out of the showroom. Good grief. Makes it easy to have a ding, which is, well, not necessarily a good thing, but at least you're getting backed up. The aircraft series right now is starting to really get some attention. What's the future for the program? And also, let's talk a little bit about how the U.S. is going to be covered and maintained. So the future of the Series A aircraft, we're always making improvements. Another improvement we made this year is Behringer brakes are standard. It's much easier to get parts all over the U.S., all over the world pretty much for Behringer. I mean, to me, that's the gold standard in LSA brakes. We are also offering either parts kits to flight schools, because like we just talked about, accidents happen. We have programs and kits for basic maintenance and those common unscheduled maintenance, we'll call it. Students can be a little rough on equipment. I could be rough on equipment, and I'm selfish and I want parts in stock for my airplane. So we are stocking a number of parts, majority of parts right here in the U.S., so there's no wait on those parts. Our major market right now is we're looking to get more flight schools involved. Looks like we got a little bit of an air show this morning going on, I guess, right? Yeah, not bad. And so what we're looking to do is to work and partner with more flight schools, get more aircraft into the hands of the flight schools that are easier to maintain, cheaper to obtain, and cheaper to insure, fly. You can do a lot more flying with a light sport than you can with a 172 or a Cherokee 140. You're going to have a lot less downtime. You're going to have a lot less unscheduled maintenance. And I think that that's what we need more of. I mean, I bought mine before I had my pilot's license, and I really liked the fact that it was a new airplane. I had rented a number of very well-loved, very well-used, very poorly maintained flight school and flight club aircraft. And I'm very happy with mine. I bought it in January, and I've got I think we just did the annual on it, and I was crossing 340 hours on that. So we've been flying it, or I've been flying it, and I hope to my goal is to break 1,000 hours on that airplane this year. See if it happens. I think it might. Tell me a little bit about owning an aircraft that you're learning to fly in. That's a bit of a shift, but there are people who are entertaining that now more than ever because of going to the average flight school and seeing a 172 that looks like it fought 3 or 4 world wars and lost every single one of them, down in flames, and so forth. But what was the process for you, and how did it enable or empower your process of learning to fly and getting licensed? So for me, as I started and stopped like everybody does, you either have the time and no money, or the money and no time. For once in my life, it lined up where I had the money and the time. So I went to a few different flight schools, and I wanted to fly every day. I wanted to get the license done. And I was constantly fighting aircraft that were down for maintenance, overcrowded scheduling for rentals, couldn't get a DPE, couldn't get parts, and the list goes on. The time marches on. It's the story as old as time in flying. So for me, I said, forget it. I'm going to go to a 141 school and pay the money. And it looked like it was going to be about130,000 to go get my rating at a 141 school. And for me, That didn't make a lot of sense. I go, you know what? For that kind of money, I'll go buy a brand new airplane. For a little bit more money, I'll go buy a brand new airplane. It's mine. I know exactly what I'm getting into every time I fly it. I know exactly how it's maintained, and I can go fly whenever I want, wherever I want, and it's all up to me. I found an instructor. I found a great school in Florida in Titusville, U.S. Aviation Training Solutions, and they helped me get my license sorted out, and they loved the airplane so much, they became a dealer, and they bought 2 aircraft that were just delivered last week to do training in their own Altos over there. So, I mean, for me, it allowed me to be confident in the aircraft, confident in myself, learn on a TAA, fly as much as I wanted to, and I'm still flying as much as I want to, and it doesn't really cost much of anything.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to getting a test flight done here in the not-too-distant future. I've been lusting after the airplane for a while. We missed out one really gusty day when it wasn't that likely to be much of a test flight and more of a wrestling match. But at any rate, we're looking forward to it in the future. And we thank you much. In the meantime, how can people get more information on the Alto NG and Direct Fly USA?
If you want to get a hold of me, it would be find us at www.directflyusa.com, or if you're here at the show, stop by and see me at booth LP62 over in the Light Plane Mall, and I'd be happy to talk to you about the Alto and a few other things that we might have going on, and whatever questions I can answer, I'd be happy to do so.
All righty. Tell you what, folks, we've got another guest on deck. This is going to be an interesting one. As you know, having been a CFI for a number of years, CFI, II, MEI, HI, so forth and so on, and a whole bunch of other I's, aviation education is a big deal to me. How people conduct it, how they're innovating through it, how they're reaching out to people. Boy, that's possibly the most important job in aviation. So let's talk to somebody who's really pushing through in just a few moments. Adriana Berrigan, who is an aviation educator and has a program here introduced called ORCA. So we will be right back here at Aero-News 51st Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, right off the Compass Rose next to Building A, Terminal A. Man, I'm just really losing it here. Hangar A at the Lakeland Linder International Airport. We will be right back with Aero-News.
The Aero-News Network Sun and Fun Digital Daily Morning Brief, live from Lakeland, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
There's a lot of places I get to at the end of the runway or in turnarounds that I need an engine running. So for me, it's very important to have a product that I'm absolutely confident with. I am very confident with the Trailblazer propeller. And when I'm flying air shows, I know that propeller is going to be right for me.
And we're back, and we are a triple threat today. We have 3 guests instead of the usual 2, and we're pleased to close out the week with 3 exceptional people here at the morning brief. So let's talk to Adriana Berrigan. She apparently likes the title aviation educator, and I think that's the best way to describe anybody in the flight training environment. Adriana, welcome to the morning brief. Tell us what you're doing with your program.
Thank you for having me, Jim. Good morning. I co-founded an app that allows you to watch other people fly, record your flights, and connect with instructors that are in the business of teaching and other pilots all over the world.
How are you distributing this, and where are you finding the material to be able to distribute to people?
It's in the App Store, both on the both for Apple, or if you have an iPhone or an Android. We are developing for both, and you can fly. You can, if you search for Fly Orca with a K, you can find it on the App Store. Yeah.
So what does Orca do? When you load it up, what is it you find? How is it utilized? What can it do to the flight training environment?
Well, there are several things that we are on a mission to accomplish several things and solve many of the frustrating problems we have in flight training.
Another pilot on a mission. There you go.
Yes. No, I'm on a mission. Yes, absolutely. And well, we are advocate. I want to see pilots feel accomplished and go to bed with a big smile, and I want to see educators thrive. We can't afford, aviation can't afford to have a flight instructor that has the vocation to teach, who is driven to start a flight school, who is driven to own his or her own teaching business. We cannot afford to lose those businesses. I want to see them thrive, and what the Orca app is doing is reaching out to all pilots and students to give them something that could allow them to make progress faster and connect with good people.
Who are you partnering with on this? How are you finding the requisite talent necessary to be able to provide context and content?
Well, I am very lucky. I can't believe that I am so lucky to have this fantastic team. My co-founder, Young, before joining me, he actually developed a digital bank system that was processing like millions of dollars, imagine a bank that is digital. Oh wait, and he was like, yeah, this is easy compared to that. Very talented, experienced chief technology officer, and our software engineer is very, very talented. So it's a team of 3, and it's all technology. And as an aviation educator and over 15 years of experience, I created a framework to do this. But all the it's a flight recorder, and you can just tap to record, and you will see a playback of your flight, and it automatically uploads to an animated logbook that you can share with people, and you can see other people fly and also connect with instructors. And instructors develop their own content. I don't even review the content, but I know the instructors personally. I get to meet them, and they are all educators. They all teach with curriculum, and they are very creative too. So I'm very proud to be showcasing them and letting the world know they exist.
I noticed from the website that you diverge from the usual fixed wing. There's a number of different categories of information there involving classic aircraft, rotor, and so forth. Do you find that to be popular at this point?
Well, this is we are looking to. We can see a decline in several skill sets, such as especially when it comes to like flying sports, such as soaring, aerobatics, or technical skills like formation flying or tactical flying, and nowadays even finding an instructor to teach you tailwheel flying is very, very hard. So what we will also like to do is to encourage people to move away from a mentality of just building time to, hey, what are you going to do with your time? And you're going to spend the time and the money. You can feel accomplished, and you can feel very good about yourself by pushing yourself to be learning. and why not explore backcountry flying, soaring, a little bit of aerobatics, maybe take your do all kinds of spins, and if you are into aviation, you might as well learn something. So we are advocating for all cross training.
Well, it sounds like a fascinating program. We wish you the best of luck. Please keep us up to date, especially as you are adapting it or modifying it for the future. Please be sure to let us know so that we can cover it in Aero-News. In the meantime, where can people get more information on Orca and your other programs?
Yeah, well, you can go to the App Store and just type Fly, ORKA, with a K, or you can also go to our website, flyorca.com, with a K. And Orca means to have energy to do, kind of the like Red Bull type of energy.
There you go. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Alrighty, folks, let's talk about the rest of the day, and then we'll let you go and you don't have to suffer through me anymore. Wouldn't that be a joy? Alrighty, let's talk about the air show schedule. 1300, things start getting hot and heavy. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels are here, and despite being Navy, yeah, they're okay. Being an Air Force guy, they just never quite met that standard, but oh well. The F-35A demo team is here. There are F-16Cs from the proper service who are showing up today. Heritage Flight, EA-18G demos, F-35C demos, Legacy Flights, Titan Aerobatic Team, Mike Goulian, Skip Stewart, Kevin Coleman, Red Bull, Redline, Shooters Parachute Team, and a whole passel of warbirds. Of course, no such thing as enough warbirds. So we will look forward to seeing everybody out flying later on today. In the meantime, let's go to the next sheet of paper here. Short brief on a couple of events that we wanted to bring to your attention. One, Stoll Invitational Pilot Meet and Greet, 10:30 to 12 today. At 4 p.m., Drone Soccer World Cup Tournament Student League. At 7 p.m., the Sunset Aerial Circus and Stoll Invitational out in the Light Plain area. Don't miss it. This is good fun. Good, clean fun. For aviation, that's something exceptional. A couple other notes. 10 a.m., Dream Launch Tour, exploring unique career opportunities in aviation with our buddy Jamal Larkins, Ethan O'Rourke, and Jay Kadir. 11:30, U.S. Navy Blue Angels Youth Outreach. The Blue Angels also have a crowd interaction at 7:30 tonight, short presentation, and at 8:05, the movie at our little local Sun and Fun movie theater here is Devotion. If you haven't seen it, folks, it's quite extraordinary. And the scary part about the whole thing is that's at a time when these things actually happen in this world. Alrighty, and don't forget our sponsor today, Piper Aircraft. If you get a chance to go over and drool over the M700, please do, because I have. And again, it's as fast as they say it is because I did it, and love the machine. It's really well done. The cockpit architecture is sweet, so do check that out. Couple things we'll close with. One, Sun and Fun Digital Daily, SNFDD.com, Sierra November Foxtrot Delta Delta. We have the news every day. We're Sun and Fun's daily media partner. And we look forward to bringing you story after story after story after story because it's Sun and Fun and there's a lot of stories to tell. Don't forget that the Sun and Fun Innovation Preview archives are to be found at the airborne-live.net site. And then finally, tomorrow in the 1300 time frame, possibly as long as 1330 for the start, is Saturday Flight Live air show, day, night. We're going to be so beat at the end of this, they're just going to have to pour us into wheelbarrows and truck us away because it's going to be a long day. I'm not sure we're all going to get through it intact, but we're going to do our best. But day, night air show, again, BORNE-live.net, and we will see you live tomorrow for the day and the night air show. And by the way, that's Dennis Dunbar's program. He's the air show director here. His night air show, he promises. If you're still standing after this, we got nothing for you. It's really going to be exciting. So that's it, folks. The full week of ANN's Morning Brief. We will be live tomorrow early afternoon. We thank you so much for being with us. For the ANN team who has been working their buns off and doing extraordinary work, and I just get to sit back and take credit for everything, you got to love them. They're just the best aviation journalism team ever. And we appreciate them so very much, with the exception of that Addison person every now and then and a few others. So Alrighty, folks, we are live for just a few more moments at the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, Lakeland Linder International Airport, just outside the Compass Rose and Hangar A. We've had a ball spending time with you. We will see you tomorrow with Saturday Flight Live. Thanks so much for everything, and we're out of here.
The Aero-News Network Sun and Fun Digital Daily Morning Brief, live from Lakeland, Florida, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Thank you.